Using our 10mm ratchet wrench, we're going to go ahead and remove these two nuts. Now we did soak these in rust penetrant before attempting to remove them. Once they're loose, go ahead and remove them. With those nuts removed, this should allow for us to go ahead and separate this unit right here. Now what we want to do is we're going to loosen this hose clamp for the fuel filler neck. I'm going to use a number 7 socket with an extension and ratchet. Just want to loosen this to the point where we can go ahead and slide that clamp loose and move it up the hose. Now with the hose clamp loose, we're going to go ahead, I'm just going to use a pry bar here and just going to gently work that hose loose. And just separate that from the filler neck. And just make sure that that is not stuck to the neck. We won't be able to separate it yet until we lower the tank, but it is free. So this is the point where you're going to want to go ahead and grab a jack or a gas tank jack or a lift, something like this here. You want to go ahead and support the tank. Make sure you're not lifting the vehicle. Using a 15mm socket, extension, and impact, we're going to go ahead and remove the forward mounted strap bolts. And repeat for the other side. In the rear, we want to go ahead and remove these 15mm bolts. I'm going to go ahead and remove this vent hose. Go ahead and remove the strap. So we're going to go ahead and lower the gas tank. We're going to do it a little bit at a time. Things you want to pay attention to. One is the filler neck. So as this starts to lower, we're going to go ahead and slowly start to wiggle that off the tube for the tank, as well as the fuel lines on the top of the tank. So while we're slowly lowering the tank, we can go ahead and work this hose, reach up, and wiggle that back and forth a little bit. Lower the tank a little bit more. Now it's always going to be best to make sure that your tank is almost empty. If it's full, it's going to make this a little bit more challenging. With the filler neck removed, we now want to go ahead and pay attention to any of the plastic tubes up top that may still be connected. So pay attention to these units up top. Using a pry tool, we're going to go ahead and remove this little plastic connector from the chassis. Just gently pry and release that. Once that's free, I'm going to go ahead and use a pair of pliers. And I want to go ahead and disconnect this fuel line up top. This does use a pinch connector. right, so our next hose we want to go after is this one here, and this uses another pinch connector on it, just like that main fuel line did. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to lower the tank just a little bit so we can get better access to that. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop this hose out of this retainer. Now there's another fuel line right here that has one of those pinch tabs or pinch locks on it. Goes through the frame and over to the tank. We're now going to go ahead and release this one. I'm going to go ahead and lower the tank just a little bit more. Feed this fuel line through, one that we just disconnected. And lower the tank so we can go ahead and do another inspection on the top, make sure that we're clear from all connections. Now we're going to go ahead and use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to open up the lock. Once this is unlocked, we'll be able to go ahead and pinch the back. Should be able to go ahead and wiggle that and remove that harness, set that aside. Doesn't look like anything else is connected to the tank, so let's go ahead and lower this down. What we want to do is go ahead and remove this fuel line off the top. I'm going to go ahead and pinch this connector here. You can try it with your finger. We're just going to use our pliers and slide that off. Now along the top of the tank here, you want to make sure that this is clean. The top of our tank is pretty clean at this point here, but if it isn't, now's the time you want to clean it, because now we're going to undo the lock ring and take the fuel pump out. You don't want any debris, sand, dirt, or anything like that to fall into the tank. Now we want to go ahead and use a brass drift punch here. I'm going to go ahead and work this lock ring. What we're trying to do is get this lock ring to spin around and get these tabs into those open spots. Go ahead and remove the lock ring. I'm going to go ahead and grab the fuel sending unit. You want to have a catch can or a drain pan right beside that tank, ready to go. Slowly lift it up. Pull the float out and right into your catch can. Now you want to make sure that this track on the inside is clean of any debris. Go ahead and take your new seal, set that down into place. Next, take the fuel pump, set the float in, work this in, and set the pump and sending unit down into the tank. Now you want to make sure that this tab is in its correct location from when you removed it. You're going to press this down inside. Get your lock ring lined up. Go ahead and get that started. Now we're going to go ahead and use our brass punch and tap this back into its locked position. So now that we have it in its fully locked position, we're going to go ahead and grab our fuel line, line that up, snap that back into place. So let's go ahead and go over the points of connection for the tank. So once we put this up, we know the points that we have to make contact with. We have the electrical connector with the main fuel line that comes up, attaches to the chassis, and then clips onto the other line. We have this vent port. Over here, we have the the fuel filler neck. Then we have this line here that goes through the hole in the frame and connects up to the top. So we have those there to connect. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the electrical connector first. Line that up, push it on, and then push your lock tab in. I'm going to go ahead and take this connector and line that up. Get that ready to feed through the hole in the frame. Once that comes through, we're going to go ahead and raise the tank a little bit further. Up under the differential, we're going to go ahead and press this connector on. You'll hear it snap into place. Now let's go ahead and hook up this larger port up top. Line it up, feed it on, and you're going to end up supporting the backside. And you'll feel it click into place. Now I'm going to go ahead and install this retainer tab back into the frame. Just press it in, it'll snap into place. Let's go ahead and reconnect this fuel line to the metal line. Hear an audible click. Now I want to go ahead and raise the tank up to its filler neck position. We'll just manipulate the tank, move it around a little bit, and get that hose work back on. And with that hose fully on the filler neck, let's go ahead and tighten up this filler neck clamp. We have the driver's side tank strap ready to go up. Just gonna get a few threads started and we'll move to the front. All right, and let's go ahead and repeat for the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten down these strap bolts. Let's go ahead and reposition this hose here and pop that into its retainer. We're going to take our differential vent tube and pop that on to the strap like so. Let's now go ahead and reposition this unit back up into place. Reinstall our 10mm bolts or nuts. I'm just going to go ahead and snug these down. now we can go ahead and remove the tank jack.